ABC 10 News starts now.
All across the country on Martin Luther King Day, people turn out in droves to help a neighbor or a neighborhood. Today, Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney outlined a number of projects planned for the day. The regional day of service includes Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, making it the largest King Day event in the nation.
We are expecting some 150,000 volunteers to serve in more than 1,800 projects throughout the region.
There will also be a massive job fair with dozens of companies accepting applications.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program.
Of course, tomorrow marks Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. It's a federal holiday that marks Dr. King's birthday, and people are encouraged to use this time off of work and school to keep Dr. King's vision alive.
Here in Philadelphia, we have honored Dr. King in the best possible way. Tens of thousands of volunteers take part each year in community service projects that makes our city the largest MLK Day of Service event in the entire nation. So proud of it. Joining us now to talk about this year's big event and the plans is the founder and director of the Greater Philadelphia Martin Luther King Day of Service, Todd Bernstein. Thank you so much for joining us again to talk about this very important event.
Yeah, Todd.
My pleasure, Alicia and Gray.
So good to have you here. And of course, this year's holiday happening and happens to occur on the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's death. Tell us how this event in particular will honor his legacy.
Well, Dr. King, of course, was a man of action, fighting for social justice and civil rights 365 days of the year. And on this day, when we honor that legacy, on the 50th anniversary of his birth and also the 50th anniversary of the Poor People's Campaign, 150,000 people throughout the region from all ages and backgrounds will be taking their way of celebrating Dr. King and their concerns for the community and turning it into action.
Give us an example of some of the things. We're looking at some video now of some of the events that will be happening tomorrow. Give us kind of an overview of what kinds of events we're talking about.
At Girard College, which will be our signature site with 5,000 people led by the governor and Mayor Kenney and Senator Casey and Congressman Evans, we have a focus on food justice, food access. 50 years ago, Dr. King led the Poor People's Campaign, which ended abruptly at his death, at his assassination, but it was carried on. 50 years later, more than 41 million more people live in poverty. 1 in 5 children go to sleep hungry at night. So the issues that we dealt with before are still with us. So at Girard College, we will be packing food with the SHARE program that will be distributed through 500 food cupboards throughout the region. We're going to be encouraging young people to be able to grow vegetables and get involved in this kind of work by growing pallet gardens and grow light stands and compost bins. We need to get people to embrace his legacy by turning words into action and doing it not just with a day of volunteering, but with a lifetime of service.
All right.
Yes, and something for everyone to get involved in tomorrow. Will, of course, get people linked up to all of the events happening tomorrow. You have about 150,000 volunteers already signed up, and I think we can get you a few more.
That would be great.
Todd, always great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'd like to remind you folks, you can find more information about how to get involved. Go to our website, 6abc.com. We'll see you after the break.
From the Fox 29 studios, this is Good Day Philadelphia.
Listen to this. This is why we're here today.
I have a dream that my poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today
Today, the nation remembers Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Millions of people will commemorate the civil rights leader by giving back to others. It's been declared a day of service, so a lot of people go out and they will give and do some community service. One of the biggest events on this day of service, well, some of them are happening right here in our area, and Lauren has had one of the biggest ones.
Well, I still believe this is the biggest one in America, as a matter of fact, in that very room.
It
Hi, Lauren.
is. I think it's the first and the oldest in the entire nation. So a lot of passionate people will walk through the doors here at the Armory on the campus of Girard College to do some pretty good work here, turning community concerns into citizen action. Everything is in place, as you can see, ready for kickoff a little later this morning, but some volunteers already starting to trickle in. Now check out the video from last year's event. Thousands of these events happen all over the metropolitan Philadelphia area, Jersey, and in Delaware. This year, expected to be bigger and even better. 150,000 people. So more volunteers, more passion, more projects, more chances to serve, educate, and inform. And it's grown in size and scope since its humbling beginnings a few years ago.
And we started it in '96 with 1,000 volunteers, 23 years and 1.6 million volunteers later. Here we are today.
Talk about growth, and there's something for everyone planned here today. In addition to the main events here and the service project, there's a kids carnival, a job fair, a civic expo, health fair, and so much more. One of the goals planners and organizers have in mind is for the work done on MLK Day to continue long after today. So Mike and Alex, every little area in here is a station for something. The area that we're standing in right here is full of boxes, and in these unopened boxes, lots of clothes, business clothes for men that they'll donate so people can go on job interviews.
This is the way to do it.
Business meetings.
Yeah.
This is the way to do it.
A day of service, instead of just selling, like other holidays, you sell a mattress or something. They have sales on TV.
And you can tell that there's a lot of organizations that come out. Lauren, I see the pink and green over there by you. It's Founders Day.
Yes.
The lovely ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
That's why you have pink on today, Alex.
That is why I have pink on. Yep. Look at that.
That's great.
It's wonderful to take it today to do some service.
Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Philadelphia, this is CBS 3 Eyewitness News this morning.
A day on, not a day off, as volunteers get ready to honor Martin Luther King Jr. with a day of service.
Here in Philadelphia, thousands will participate in the 23rd annual Greater Philadelphia Martin Luther King Day of Service. Eyewitness News reporter Trang Do live at Girard College with more on some of the projects those volunteers will work on. Trang, good morning.
Well, good morning, Joe and Rahel. Just a massive amount of projects that will be going on today. 150,000 volunteers, just these crazy, crazy numbers. But in addition to these service projects, here at Girard College, they will also be providing some services to the community. And here to explain that to me is Todd Bernstein, who has he's like the mastermind behind all of this. So, Todd, I understand there are a number of things for kids to do as well to really get involved in this day of service, right?
It's really important that kids, young people, know about Dr. King and his legacy, and I think fewer and fewer do, unfortunately. So we have a kids carnival for hundreds of young people devoted to learning more about Dr. King, but also doing fun things like making civil rights mobiles, painting murals of the civil rights movement, reading books about Dr. King. So we want them to know, and we want them to not only learn, but to know how they can make a difference in the community.
So if somebody is at home and they really want their child to be involved, can they come down here and get involved?
They could, yeah. They can bring their kids down here. They can also go to our website at mlkdayofservice.org, and there still are some projects that could use volunteers.
Wonderful. And another thing that was really striking to me is this job fair. Can we talk about that really quickly?
Dr. King was a champion of economic justice, so underscoring that, we will have 500 job seekers choosing among 30 local employers with real jobs, providing an opportunity for everyone to contribute to their families and to society.
Thank you so much, Todd. Thanks. So just a multifaceted approach here, service projects, getting jobs, being creative. So many things to do for people to come here and honor Dr. King. But for now, we're live from Girard College. I'm Trang Do, CBS 3 Eyewitness News. Joan Rahel, back to you.
Trang, thank you very much.
Happening right now, the nation's biggest Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. service project is underway in North Philadelphia. NBC 10's Katie Zachary shows us how people are spending the holiday helping others.
This day of service has begun here at Girard College with about 5,000 people coming into this one space to spend their day off of school and work volunteering.
Come on down here to Girard College. You'll learn something, you'll see different things going on. This is a good event.
Enthusiasm and a drive to help others. That's the energy inside the Armory building at Philadelphia's Girard College. The campus is once again host to the country's largest volunteer effort on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
He was a person who was engaged in solving some of the most pressing social and economic challenges of the day. That legacy can be a living one and should be.
Todd Bernstein founded the Greater Philadelphia King Day of Service more than 20 years ago. He says every year more volunteers come out to help. This year's a first for the Dupuy family. Mom Carissa wants her young sons to spend their day off of school a little differently.
A little bit of sacrifice reminds us that it's, important to honor Martin Luther King and what he stood for.
The room is packed with workshops, service projects, information for the homeless, poor, and needy. There's a health and wellness and job fair happening too.
Well, it's something important for Dr. King's Day, and I felt my daughter needed the exposure.
The theme of this year's work focuses on Dr. King's Poor People's Campaign. For that, volunteers will also be boxing food that will go to hundreds of organizations that feed the hungry.
That was a motto in our house. You help, if you make it, help somebody else.
And so I'm sure there are people that are home today that are just looking at it as a day off. But I think through word of mouth, sometimes that kind of opens the doors for their participation.
In North Philadelphia, Katie Zachary, NBC 10 News.
Delaware Valley's leading news program with Rick Williams, Sarah Blomquist, and meteorologist David Murphy.
Good afternoon. Rick is off. The big story on Action News this noon is the nation honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Through symbolic gestures and acts of service to help others, thousands of people in our area are doing their part to pay tribute to the slain civil rights leader. The Action Cam is live right now on Independence Mall, where the 33rd annual National Bell Ringing Ceremony is now underway. The symbolic ringing of the Liberty Bell is just one of the many events happening across the country and right here in Philadelphia. Action News reporter Jeanette Reyes is live now in North Philadelphia, where the nation's largest MLK Day of Service event is underway. Jeanette.
Well, Sarah, this is an impressive event. It got underway at 8 o'clock this morning, and boy, is it a packed room. People have been coming and going throughout the day, but take a live look here behind me. People young and old doing activities, saying today is not a day off. It is a day to give back and honor Dr. King. For tens of thousands of volunteers in the Delaware Valley, today was anything but a day to catch up on sleep.
Martin Luther King Day is not a day to sleep in at all. You know what I mean? It's the day of delivering help.
A national record of 150,000 people participated in the 23rd annual Greater Philadelphia Martin Luther King Day of Service. It's the country's oldest and largest event of its kind. Todd Bernstein is the founder and director.
I think we're a divided nation, and I think that has certainly been compounded in recent times. So I think now is perhaps more important than in recent years for us to try to come together.
Thousands did just that, including Senator Bob Casey, Philadelphia Schools Superintendent Dr. William Haidt, and Governor Tom Wolf.
That's what today is about. Dr. King was about service above all. We need to create a fair society for everyone.
Local organizations and companies had volunteers donate their time and resources.
We are here partnering with Career Wardrobe to help women who are transitioning back into the workforce by making them inspirational note cards and putting together beauty bags that include necessities and toiletries.
I wrote, "You're a diamond, dear, they can't break you."
We're advocates for domestic violence victims, senior youth,
homeless.
Each played a small role in bringing to life what was Dr. King's undying dream.
It's kind of like MLK's vision, like in action, and really feels like a big Philly community here.
And coming back out live to us, I want to show you these banners that you see across the room here. This is 23 years worth of banners painted and created by the younger generation here, and each reflect the times in which they were made. And so today they're reflecting movement, change, and hope for a better future. A future that, of course, is inclusive of everyone. Reporting live at Girard College, Jeanette Reyes, Channel 6 Action News. Sarah.
Jeanette, thank you. There are many places to get involved on this day of service. You can find information about how to take part on our website, 6abc.com.
On this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, many Americans put the words and messages of Dr. King into action. Thousands of volunteers came out in Philadelphia to mark the 50th anniversary of his Poor People's Campaign to put the spotlight on the principles of civil, human, and equal rights. Our Joyce Evans was there.
I feel excited. Quincy Freeman of AmeriCorps started the day volunteering along with thousands of others at the Greater Philadelphia Martin Luther King Day of Service.
I'm here to help people out. That's what I do.
Then he ran into people there to help him out.
Some people, they stay at home, but it's opportunities out here that people don't really go after.
We're talking about the restaurant industry. We're talking about the technical field. We're talking about almost every area that you can think of in the Philadelphia area.
The helping hands of volunteers stretched all around and well beyond the Philadelphia area.
It's great. You're helping people around the world that, that need food.
Makes you feel good.
Yes, it does.
Leaving with a sense of accomplishment when some young volunteers came, feeling, what can they really do to help?
We're doing our best we can, and this is part of it. You gotta start working in the smallest way possible.
Getting involved to help improve human conditions, service and sacrifice. Some of Dr. King's teachings. Firefighter John Scruggs wants his little Cameron to learn early and practice often.
Every day. He stood for something. I want him to know, his family know that his goals and dreams were not lost. And that's important as a community. That's important for my daughter, so she can live that.
I learned that you have to work hard for what you believe in, and everything's a job, but in the end, it's all worth it.
It's better to do it when they're younger, so they get a good feel what it's actually all about. Instead of being home on a day off, it's a day on to learn.
The importance of civic and social action is what Delta Sigma Theta sorority was teaching.
Today's climate really demands that we all be involved in the voter process.
Continue the progress that we're making, and we will protect the progress that we have made thus far.
The recurring message all day long was, try not to make it just one day of service out of the year. Instead, people were encouraged to make service a part of their lives. If not every day, do it whenever you can. Joyce Evans, Fox 29 News.